My name is Kathryn Davies and I am a PhD candidate at the Courtauld Institute of Art and a print room assistant in the Courtauld Gallery. This chalk drawing by Peter Paul Rubens is a portrait of his second wife, Helena Fourment. It was produced around 1630 or 1631 and it entered the Courtauld collection in 1978. Peter Paul Rubens was born in 1577. He is perhaps best known for his large-scale religious and historical paintings. He was mostly active in the city of Antwerp, which is in modern-day Belgium, and he set up a workshop of international renown there. In 1630, he married his second wife, Helena Fourment, when he was 52 and she was just 16. This drawing is remarkable among the works of Rubens. It is his largest drawn portrait in which Helena is depicted nearly life-sized, and it shows an elaborate technique. Although Rubens produced numerous paintings of Helena, there is no indication that this work was a preparatory drawing for any of those works. It is therefore likely that Rubens intended this work to be viewed as a work of art in its own right. The artistic skill that Rubens employs in this work supports this conclusion. He uses only red, black and white chalk to produce the effect of the whole work. In this way, he manages to convey the colour of Helena's eyes as well as her blonde hair. Red chalk is used to give colour to Helena's skin, and he uses white highlights to point out her nose and her lips. One of Helena's eyebrows is drawn in a reddish-brown colour, whereas the other is in black, and this shows Rubens conveying light and shade across her face. This allows him to depict her face as oval-shaped, which was the ideal form of facial beauty in this period. Helena was from a prosperous family of silk merchants, and her wealth is shown in her elaborate clothing. Rubens uses red chalk to point out the prominent jewel on the front of her dress, and she wears strings of pearls around her neck. Rubens highlights the different textures of the fabric of the clothes. He uses bold black chalk strokes to convey the puffed, slashed sleeves of the dress, but then he uses a more delicate approach to convey the lace collar around Helena's neck. Helena lifts her right hand and pushes a veil behind her shoulder. This 17th century item of clothing was called a hauk, or a cloak. Netherlandish women would use this cloak to keep out the wind and the rain, but it soon developed to become a fashionable item rather than simply a practical one. Helena's hauk is made of black silk, and Rubens skillfully conveys the translucent material as she lifts it behind her shoulder. The hauk is held in place with an elaborate hat, which was often called a hupette, and it has a pom-pom attached to the top of it. There are very few visual records of this 17th century garment, but another example can be found in the Courtauld collection. There is a portrait by Jacob van Oost of an unknown woman who also wears a hauk. This item of clothing would have been used in public spaces and was also often used in church. Given that Helena is holding a small prayer book in her left hand, it is quite possible that Rubens decided to depict her just before they left for a church service. The iconography of the drawing can tell us much about how Rubens wanted his wife to be perceived. The prayer book shows her to be a devout and pious wife. He also used this visual motif in a portrait of his first wife, Isabella Brandt. The hauk was often associated with female modesty. It could also be linked to betrothal, which makes sense given that Rubens and Helena married around the time that this portrait was produced. Rubens poses Helena's right hand in a graceful gesture that draws on classical precedents. Rubens often used motifs like this in his painting, and it imbues Helena with the ideal of classical beauty that was associated with statues of antiquity. The drawing has undergone a number of changes since it was produced in the 17th century. The paper has been cut following Helena's silhouette, and then the original drawing was pasted onto new paper. This paper is of a coarser texture and darker colour than the paper that Rubens originally used. At some point, light chalk marks were sketched over the cut edge to make the drawing blend more seamlessly with its new background. It is uncertain why this intervention was made. Some other changes were also added to the drawing. Helena's elaborate headdress has been drawn over in ink, as has the iris of her right eye. In the 19th century, it was common for collectors to intervene in drawings that they possessed, if they thought it would add to the aesthetic impact. In this case, although large parts of the drawing have been altered, much of Rubens's original work still remains. This means that we can view Helena as Rubens wanted us to, as a devout, serene, and beautiful wife. You can see this and other works by booking an appointment at the Prints and Drawings study room.